Public service is going to be chaired today by Councilman Kamer. The other committee members are Mosley, Holland, Lombardo, and McKittrick. We do have all committee members present whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sarah. I'd like to move forward and call the public service meeting to order. All members are present. We did host a meeting last week. I would like to get approval of those minutes, please.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Moving forward, we do have 4 resolutions in front of us. Today, our first resolution is declaring it necessary to improve certain streets between certain termini, 2022 Phase 1 Ulterior Collector Resurfacing Program by resurfacing such streets with asphaltic concrete 402, 404, and declaring emergency. And I believe we have Chris Luddle, our service director, with us in council chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. Correct. These 4 resolutions are basically all the same. The first one is for arterial collector, and what this resolution of necessity allows us to do is start the assessment process. So the letters will be mailed next week. They're at the mailing house now being prepared for the residents. They have the 28 days to file an objection. Then we will schedule a hearing. After that, we will take the recommendations of the Assessment Equalization Board, and we look to, we're bidding that, you passed that last week, to bid an award. So we look to start this program probably mid-May. And as all of you get the email that our contractor with the carryover has started the program this year. They're milling in Ward 6, and they will start paving tomorrow with the weather that is forecasted. So they're all 4 the same. We can read through them, but the first one is for arterial collector, sir, and consent is fine.
All right, thank you, Chris. I'll see if there's any questions or comments from committee members first, and if anyone in chambers has questions or comments, please make sure Sarah sees your hand raised, please. Committee members.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Lombardo has his hand raised.
All right, Councilman Lombardo, please.
Mr. Luddle, I know what asphalt is. What's 402, 404? What's that designation?
That is the grade, so it is the different, the grade of the asphalt mix. It's an ODOT mix, so that is the spec for the mix that they use
to make the asphalt.
Yes.
Okay. Certain streets. I mean, I don't know what other designations could be. You know, 400, 404, or
well, what,
you know.
What it is, sir, is we have the 1.5 or 2 inches we mill off, and they call that the top. But if they have to use the binder, that would be the 404 mix, which is. If they take off too much, if they have to take off more to rebuild the road, this allows them to put different mixes into it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else? All right, moving forward, Mr. Luddle did say consent is fine. Can I get a motion?
Motion for consent. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Moving on to our second resolution, declaring it necessary to improve certain streets between certain termini, 2022 Phase 1 Residential Resurfacing Program by resurfacing such streets with asphaltic concrete 402, 404, and declaring emergency. Chris?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. This is the residential resurfacing for this year, and it's the same explanation as the last.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Chris did say consent is fine on all these. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion for consent.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. Moving on to our next resolution, number 8. Resolution declaring it necessary to improve certain streets between certain termini, 2022 Phase 1 Unimproved Street Resurfacing Program by treating the surface thereof with substances designed to preserve the surface and declare an emergency. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. This is the unimproved street portion of the resurfacing program.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments, committee members? Council members?
Mr. Chair, I can see that Councilman Lombardo has his hand raised.
Sure, Councilman, please.
And again, unimproved is without the curbs.
Yes. Unimproved streets are without curb and curb and gutters, so there's no edge.
Okay, yep, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, once again, Chris is okay with consent. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, moving on to our last piece, number 9. Resolution declaring it necessary to improve certain streets between certain termini, 2022 Phase 1 Partial Depth Pavement Replacement Program by repaving such streets with asphaltic concrete 402, 404, and declare an emergency. Mr. Ludlow?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of committee. This is the partial depth portion of our 2022 resurfacing program.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments?
I have one. Sorry.
Mr. Chair, Councilman,
I just wanted to remind everybody, Chris, how many miles are we up to? Or like how many miles do we plan on doing this year? And then what's our total again?
Well, in the carryover from 2021, we're going to, and the program that we're carrying over is about 60 miles of carryover that they've started. And then this new program, it's out for bid right now.
Yeah.
In this program, we have about 43 miles that are in the program you're approving, and then we have the other resurfacing with ODOT, which is about 8 or 9 miles. Now, this is our projections on past oil prices, so until we get the bids in, that is just an estimate on the 43 miles. But the 60 miles that they're carrying over, the contractor agreed to hold the price on that, so we are going to get 60 miles.
Okay. Because I thought last year, like we had maybe 75 miles to do.
And we didn't get them all done. That's why there's a carryover. They projected that they would get them done, but when the weather turned and the asphalt plants closed,
Right.
they didn't get them all done. So we met with them and said, you know, to hold those prices as soon as the asphalt plants open, which they did. They just opened up this morning, that they would continue last year's program. And we did have some money left over from previous programs that we included the alternates from last year, and that's why we're getting the 60 miles.
I guess I'm just confused, like, if we had 75...
We didn't get 75 done.
No. Did we get 15 done, because we're carrying over 60?
No, we carried over from the previous year, if you remember. So when COVID hit,
Yeah,
we cut the budget
2020.
back. Yeah, when 2020 hit, we carried over.
Yes.
So then we carried over again.
Yes.
So we did, with the ODOT stuff last year, we got about 50 miles.
Yeah.
So then we carried over 60. So we had over 100 if you looked at all the alternates.
Okay. Was that like... Okay. All right, that's fine. That's fine. I know we're up to, you know, when we first started in 17?
We're about 200 miles, sir. That's
Yeah,
why we're
like
doing
55. It was like a 55 a year.
It was like 54 a year, yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lombardo. Any other questions or comments? All right, moving forward, Mr. Little did say this one is okay for consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
Motion for consent.
Second?
I have a motion as second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you. And Mr. Ludlow, I just want, once again, last week I said it, and I want to say it again. Thanks for sending out the list of all the streets that are getting resurfaced. I know Jim Hall is on with us, so I appreciate that. That list is really nice. And I know Jim Hall received an award last week for Employee of the Month, so congratulations, Mr. Hall. I don't know if you have anything to say. If not, we'll adjourn.
We're all good here. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
All right. Yeah, no problem. Thank you, and thanks for those emails and all your hard work. All right, public service, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Our next committee of the day will be the Rules Committee, and that will begin at 2:30. Those committee members are Freeman, Fusco, Amobian, Connor, and Malik. Again, that's the Rules Committee that will begin at 2:30. Thank you.